Welcome back to the channel for another video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more trading content, and let's jump right into it. Today we're going to talk about what risk management is in trading and how with proper risk management I was able to have a profitable day with these trades that I'm showing here with 2 losses and 1 win that were all called out in the Market Mentors Discord. Here you can see I called out these areas, what I was looking for when it returned to this area, looking for this buy here. That was the first trade I had here, and just showing the positions that I took. And you can see I'm just following up with these entries and analysis and just telling you what I'm expecting and what the result was, and posting the trades here in the winners channel here. And be sure to just look at the descriptions for the Market Mentors Discord and website. We have all kinds of content here for you guys, including some of the guides, like the resources here, like this risk management guide we're going to pull from a little bit today. So just check that link out in the description, and let's get more into the video. So what risk management is in trading is, it's really one of the most important keys in determining your profitability, because you can see here I took 3 trades. I took 2 of them were losses and 1 was a win. But despite that, with these trades, that 1 win outweighs those losses because of proper risk management practices. That's how it really should be. You should, even though my trading strategy currently has a pretty high win percentage, it's definitely more wins than losses. On a day like this, it still has its value of doing proper risk management, because it's still, that 1 win will cancel out both of those losses, and I've actually had a little bit of profit today just because of that 1 win. So I will break these trades down and get a little more into risk management. So yes, let's talk about the same kind of confluences I did in the last video. You see it sweeps liquidity here, breaks a swing high, then leaves this imbalance here. So I'm looking for price to return to this area, which I pointed out on the Discord as well. Then I saw that it pulled into this area. You see these accumulation here, these inside bars, sweeping this liquidity here at least, then breaks to the upside, leaves this imbalance, and I entered there for my entry. And I was cautious about it because it formed right before 8:30, and usually 8:30 has some type of big push in one way or another, and I didn't really like that. But this week I'm just focusing on taking every single valid trade no matter the time, and just going to try to collect that data and see what that looks like. So yeah, that ended up being a valid loss there. Wasn't too mad about it. Used proper risk management practices, and that's all right. It's just a valid loss. Next trade. And I said that too in the Discord. I said on to the next trade, and we get it literally like 10 minutes later. We get the next trade idea. All this accumulation here with these inside bars here. Sweeps liquidity, a little more accumulation here. Breaks to the upside finally. Leaves this imbalance here. I set my entry there, and I got in this trade. Using an aggressive stop loss, we'll say I set my stop loss right here at this swing low, just to make it a smaller range trade, make it easier to take profit, which I'm going to do moving forward, because I just like how it sets up and forms and hits more, in my opinion and experience. So I took this trade and then I just held it, and I took a continuation here with this accumulation here, seeing the sweep liquidity here, and it breaks to the upside, leaves this imbalance there, and I entered there as well. And took a valid loss with this continuation as well. I'm still iffy with taking continuations, but still I'm just trying to take every valid trade I can this week and just collect that data and see what it looks like. So this ended up hitting stop loss, and then it got a little bit into the drawdown for this trade here, and then it bounced back up and went to take profit area and got us some profit. So this is why it's really important with having proper risk management. When you're risking or using proper risk management practices, some of the things you really want to do is, let me type it out, you really want to make sure you're risking the same amount per trade. And this is because of reasons like this. When you're taking multiple trades, you don't know which trades are going to win whenever you're taking them before you enter. You don't know which ones are going to win. Although it's all probabilities, you don't know which one's going to win or lose. So you just want to make sure you're risking the same amount for each trade. Because if I were to, let's say, risked 1% here, and then I risked 1% here as well, but then I risked 3% because it's a continuation move. It looked like prices or momentum was in my favor, and if I would have risked 3% here, that would have negated all of this profit right here in this trade and just added on to this loss as well. So I would have been negative for the day if I would have just went extra deep and extra risk on this one, as opposed to just having the same amount of risk for each trade. So in theory, what it should be like is, say if you're risking 1% per trade, okay, so if I risk 1% here, okay, hit stop loss, it's minus 1%. I risk 1% here. It was around 2.5% of different brokers. So let's just say I risk 1% here and it hit take profit. Okay, that's plus 2.5%. So now I'm netting 1.5% based on these two trades. Took this trade, it's a 1% as well, and then you see it's a loss, so it's minus 1%. So now you're netting 0.5% on these three trades, which is still profitable. And this is just assuming you're doing 1%. When you get to risking like 3, 5, 6% more, depending on your trading strategy, it would be more percentage. Like if I risk 3%, okay, that's a 1.5% day based on these three trades, and all you needed was that one win. So that's why that kind of comes into play. It helps out with your consistency in profit and in losses, and it helps out with just building your accounts up, and it just helps out with your trading psychology as well. So then another thing you can also keep with there are calculations to make sure you're on top with risk management. So that is also something that's discussed in the Market Mentors guide in my strategy, or my risk management strategy guide. There's calculations to see how much risk you want to do based on your trading strategy and other factors. So that is something you guys can check out in the link in the description. And there's other things in risk management that you really need to hone in on, such as start risking or risk 1% per trade. Just starting out at risk 1% per trade to build that consistency and help out with your nerves, and just try to see how that process would affect you. And then once you guys join the Discord, we talk a little bit more about how you determine your risk, if you're risking too much or too little, and how you can build your account and understand those calculations. Then we can discuss potentially scaling up to that. I'll make that capitalized, because you don't know which trade's going to lose. If anything, if you're not going to risk the same amount each trade, if you're taking a higher probability trade, you should probably scale down the percentage, which I still kind of don't recommend, because if that trade goes through and that ends up being your only winner for the day, we take one more trade or two more trades and risk the same amount as you normally would, then that would cancel out. So I just always recommend risking the same amount of trade. You can start it at 1% per trade, and you can eventually scale up depending on other factors and those calculations I talked about, which I'll go into depth maybe one day, but definitely going to go into depth with this Discord and the other courses and resources we're dropping. So with that being said, I'll probably wrap the video up here. I did want to just break these trades down and really talk about how important risk management is, because it can really save you from having those huge losses in those days, or having negative days when you should have a profitable day like this day. I took 2 losses, but this one win will negate all of it just because of proper risk management, risking the same amount each trade, because you don't know which trade is going to win. So just try and be consistent and have that balance, and just build your account like this will really help out. So yeah, I'm plus about, I know, a little bit over 1% for the day, so it's not a bad day. I definitely missed a trade here with another confluence in this sell move right here, but that's something that I'm still refining on and learning a little more about, but I'm testing it out a lot too. So probably talk about that in a future video, but it's looking like we might have a really clear way to take advantage of the market in several instances. So with that being said, I'll wrap it up here. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, check out more content on the channel, and stay tuned for the next video.